and written consent of the company. Let me draw your attention that on this call, our discussions may include certain forward-looking statements, which are predictions, projections, or other estimates about future events. These estimates reflect management's current expectation of future performance of the company. Please note that these estimates involve several risks and uncertainties that could cause our actual results to differ materially from what is expected or implied. Divi's Labs or its officials do not undertake any obligation to publicly update any forward-looking statements, whether as a result of future events or otherwise. Now I hand over the conference to Dr. Murali K. Divi, Managing Director, for the opening remarks. Over to you. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all of you. I welcome you all for the earnings call of Divi's Laboratories. Hope you are all doing well. First, let me update you on global scenario on pharma and COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 has heavily impacted several industries, small, medium, and large. Pharma industry as such is less impacted because of need for life-saving medicines. This also created responsibility to manufacturing new APIs for COVID as well as to develop new vaccines for COVID. World over, the pharmaceutical companies are busy in developing new chemical entities and vaccines for COVID-19. Divi's, as a responsible large API manufacturer, quickly developed a process from indigenous raw materials for hydroxychloroquine and favipiravir. These are the drugs used in COVID, and are geared up to supply large volumes to prevent any shortages of these APIs used to treat COVID-19. Divi's also developed a process for 4 distal intermediates of remdesivir, which is also used as an injection in COVID patients, and could supply quantities to prevent shortages. As a corporate under CSR, Divi's is distributing provisions for about 50,000 families, benefiting 1,60,000 people around 98 villages near our factories. Divi's has taken sanitization programs for 98 villages, benefiting 2,70,000 people. Divi's also supported 15,000 frontline warriors, benefiting police and health workers. Divi's employees supported migrant workers, benefiting 21,000 people. Divi's supported quarantine and Bhavnagiri district by supplying equipment required for the quarantine centers. Divi's also contributed 10 crores to local governments to support initiatives of the government. I would like to say a few words on CAPEX. Debottlenecking. Divi's has invested about 18 CAPEX. A part of the is for debottlenecking, backward integration for acute to minimize dependency for supply for raw materials from China, upgrading utilities and quality control infrastructure, setting up the most modern wastewater treatment facilities, building future chemistry blocks with automation with maximum mechanization. A part of the brownfield projects already have gone into operations. Qualification batches are completed, waiting for regulatory approval. For the rest of the CapEx, our contractors are experiencing delays due to shortages of technicians and also the equipment vendors. Our engineering department is closely coordinating with contractors and vendors for the expeditious completion of the CapEx program. I will now ask Nilima to brief on operations. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Nilima, Director Commercial. I welcome you to Divi's Laboratories Limited's earnings call to discuss the unaudited results for the first quarter ended 30th June 2020. Before we begin, I hope that everyone, along with your friends, families and colleagues, are safe during this COVID-19 pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly complicated the outlook for global pharmaceutical industry. Fluctuations in cost and availability of raw material, supply chain costs and management have been a few threats posed by the pandemic to API industry precisely. We are closely monitoring the constantly changing situation relating to this pandemic and are optimistic in ensuring uninterrupted supply of our APIs. Q1 resumed to witness a few challenges posed by COVID-19, especially after late March due to the national lockdown restrictions. However, Divi's has been able to sustain the impact posed on our operations and continue to operate at normal pace at both our manufacturing facilities by mid-April 2020. At Divi's, we remain committed to focus on health and well-being of our employees by closely monitoring the information provided by WHO, CDC, and local governments and adapting to the safety plans that reflect the constantly changing guidelines. We are also engaging with the heads of the state and local governments to support various activities taken up to ensure community safety. I would also like to briefly touch upon how we handle business during this unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic. The company has put in place several measures in order to fortify our business continuity by ensuring timely procurement of raw materials, strategic implementation of production schedules, and swiftly organizing the shipment of finished products to our customers. We have been constantly communicating and updating our customers about the supply schedules and ensuring commitments with minimal impact. We have been able to move goods to our manufacturing sites from both the domestic and import sources by constantly communicating with our associated vendors to ensure prompt supplies, factoring minimal impact due to COVID-19 situation. I would like to thank our employees across all aspects of our business who are safeguarding the continuity of all the business activities while maintaining social distancing and hygiene guidelines throughout their time in the workplace. Moving on to our Q1 FY21 revenues. On operations, I'm happy to state that we have achieved a sales revenue of rupees 1,730 crores during the quarter, reflecting a growth of 49% over the corresponding quarter of the previous year. This has been a volume-led growth across our product portfolio. While the profit before tax for the quarter is rupees 661 crores, a growth of 77%, the profit after tax has accounted to rupees 492 crores, reflecting a growth of 81% year-on-year. We have a cash on book of rupees 1,343 crores, receivables of rupees 1,550 crores, and inventories of rupees 1,742 crores as of 30th June 2020. Business administration across the region is similar to last year. Europe and America accounted for 74% of the revenue. Product mix for generics to custom synthesis is 59% and 41% of the revenue respectively. Constant currency growth for the quarter has been 39%. Thank you.
With this, I request the moderator to open the line for Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Sudarshan Padmanabhan from Sundaram Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for taking my question. So my question, is, to understand a bit more, about capacity expansion, and, we also talked about backward integration program. And I mean, just taking an example of one of the molecules, like, for example, gabapentin, when there is a lot of competition, when we are talking about expansion, are we looking at expanding the, capacity of gabapentin? Or, for example, expanding the backward, capacities for, say, the raw materials like CDA, on that side, curtailing the dependence on China. So if you can talk a bit more about CapEx, where this CapEx is going and specific molecules. I mean, we have talked about it in the annual report that we have an endeavor to be a leader in these molecules. So whether it's going to be a volume leadership or are we going to be backward integrated, some color on this, sir.
Somehow you seem to be loving gabapentin. Definitely we are leaders in gabapentin. We want to maintain our leadership. So we are expanding both in terms of volume and also the intermediate for gabapentin. So we will be producing the intermediate as well as expanding the gabapentin, both. That will reduce our dependency on import of the intermediate as well as it will bring and margins will be better. And we have taken a in gabapentin and it's growing well and we are ready to take the benefit of the growth. Regarding CapEx, excuse me?
Yes, sir, on the CapEx, yes, sir.
Regarding the CapEx, we have already implemented last year about 1,000 crores out of the 1,800 crores. 800 crores is capital work in progress. These under implementation. What we would like to say is that the debottlenecking, where a market in tens of crores would increase 20, 25%, 30% of the production in the same process, same building. Those we were able to complete. That's what you are seeing, some of the jump in production, which resulted in sales and the profitability. And some of the intermediates which we were importing, where we started manufacturing, also have contributed to the bottom line. And I think these are the main two. The upgradation of our quality control, both at Unit 1, Unit 2, upgradation of our wastewater treatment plants, which are going to be the state of the art for the youth, what is being followed in the world. These upgradations also are part of the CapEx and some of them are complete. Introduction of few new products, it is new capacity. They have been already qualified. The production and validation of the batches happened and submitted for the regulatory. We are waiting for the regulatory clearances. As and when we get, we will see the jumps in those quarters. Regarding expansion in our generic products, where we're already number 1, number 2 in the world, mostly number 1. We further increase our capacities because these generics, what we started even as naproxen, napsorium in '96, they still are growing. maybe anywhere between 5 to 10%. So such growth on 6,000-7,000 tons, if somebody needs 700-800 tons each year addition, I think Divis are able to invest such money to make sure and maintain the leadership in addition to the backward integration which they have done long, strengthening the backward integration and applying the tools of green chemistry to conserve and resources and recovery. I think the atom chemistry principles what we are following in addition to the green chemistry is making us more stronger for sustainability. I think the capex between, I would like to summarize, number one, debottlenecking, which has already resulted from both in terms of top line and bottom line, and expansion of products, existing, introduction of new generic products, also some custom synthesis products, and expanding our manufacturing the key building blocks for some of our key generic APIs, which we were dependent on China. I'm not saying just Divis, everybody. And I think we are going to be free from that as we already installed the plants.
Sure, sir. Sir, one question, if I may. The recent thing about the government proposal of the API parks and identifying the APIs in which India was dependent on China. If you can talk a bit more about when do we see what kind of benefits that we see, whether we are going to see the benefits in the next 3 to 4 years across the industry. And a lot of people are talking about this whole China to India story. I mean, India geopolitically being better in contrast to China, a lot of companies willing to bet more in India. So do you think that this is more of a structural story from a longer term perspective as well?
See, the strength of India in the API manufacturing, for sure, I think it's very difficult for somebody to take it away. And to build the chemistry capabilities, technology capabilities, training of the people, both in chemistry manufacturing and analytical, and EHS, environmental safety, this cannot be done by any European or US companies. This will take several years. And on top of all this, there is what is called cost structure. So everywhere, whether it's Europe or US, governments are planning to bring the prices of the formulations down, whereby the patient gets benefited. So it's very difficult to compete, starting new plants now, API plants, and compete with the existing generic API manufacturers.
Thank you. Sudarshan, we would request you to please come back in the question queue for any follow-up questions, as we have several participants waiting for their turn. Also, we would request the participants to please limit your questions to 2 per participant. The next question is from the line of Prakash Agarwal from Axis Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity and congratulations on good numbers, and thank you for keeping the call. So my first question is on the capex. You clearly outlined the 17 billion rupees of capex, out of which 6 billion each was for Unit 2 and Unit 1. Just wanted clarification that both these units would be completed by end of this year, and when would it be revenue generating, and do you expect US FDA to come and first give the clearance and then we start booking revenues, or just give us some pathway to that, please? Thank you.
The capex is at both Unit 1 and Unit 2. Again, the capex is for debottlenecking at both sites because we make generic products, various generic products at both sites. The capex is also for backward integration intermediates at both sites. The capex is also for new products at both sites because we also have a DCA which we started in Unit 1 and also a new DCV in Unit 2. These are the two main, I think, growth engines with all SUG benefits. Now, we will be able to complete before end of the financial year at both sites, all these capex. Now, when I say we will be able to complete, it also includes that we will be running validation batches and put them on stabilities, doing the regulatory submissions, and waiting for the clearances. Your second question contributes to the sales growth. I think that's the most difficult question to answer. I wish I don't run the US FDA, I don't run the European regulatory agencies. But I think with the track record of what we have, the way we see, these are like to like and similar technologies, similar products. So we hope to see them clear very soon. So as and when they get cleared, you will see the sales jump or sales impact.
Okay. So would it be fair to think that debottlenecking and intermediates could start immediately, whereas the new products would require a new set of approval, regulatory approvals like regulatory post-inspection?
I think you are right. Debottlenecking once you see immediate impact on already you started seeing it and you will see more. Backward integration not only will help us to for sustainability, but it will also help us the bottom line. Because when we do it, we design the best process, and that will also improve our bottom line. That you will see the impact in the coming quarters. The expansion of the generic products, probably we don't have to wait that long for the regulatory agencies to clear because these are not new products. It is the same technology, same generic expansion. It's a like to like. Some of the new products, yes, that may take little time for the clearance, for the regulatory clearances.
Perfect. Thank you. And my second question is on, the 39% dollar terms growth, CC terms growth. Ma'am clearly said it's volume-led. So is this a one-time phenomena, or the things that you said about that, the debottlenecking has started playing out? So this kind of growth is expected going forward also, and why there is an expenses Q&Q decline? I mean, that piece we could not understand. Thank you.
I think it is always API industry. In API industry, nobody should look at it on a quarter-on-quarter basis. I think it is very difficult because we have a product mix. We don't make one product or two products. We have a basket of products, both generic as well as the big pharma custom synthesis. So sometimes the product mix is such that lumpiness happens and there could be increase in volume. That doesn't mean our business is not improving. I'm not saying what you have seen all that is a growth rate and you can go and draw a line straight into the sky. But I'm saying that yes, part of it is a growth, part of it is a lumpiness, and some of it is favorable product mix. But in this basket of products, I think we are very strong to take significant for all our generic products where we have long-term contracts with our customers, and the customers are always increasing their business.
Okay, and the expenses Q&Q decline, sir?
Pardon?
The other expenses are down Q&Q. I mean, if production in full is full blown, why other expenses has come down on a quarter-on-quarter basis, sir?
I won't say they have come down probably with the increases. Maybe 1 minute.
So the other expenses actually hasn't come down. If you compare it from the, if you compare this Q4 of last year and Q1 of this year,
we are almost on equal rank. Last year, it may be because of some more expenses on CSR front. And this quarter, this is more or less same pattern of expenses we are continuing.
I think one of the reasons is that during last year or the prior, we have issues, we have lot of legal issues when we were trying to address that, and now that it's being done, so we have come back to our normal expenditure. I think that is one of the main reasons.
Thank you. Prakash, we would request you to please come back in the question queue for any follow-up questions, as we have several participants waiting for their turn. The next question is from the line of Tushar Manudhane from Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity and congrats for the good set of numbers. So just would like to understand, at least for this quarter gone by, most of the API companies have delivered strong numbers, and the general feedback is more or less led by volumes rather than pricing. So are you seeing any structural changes happening at the API industry level, and in specific on the set of products which are the major product for us? Thank you.
Can you please speak a little loud? I couldn't get exactly.
So basically, at least for the quarter gone by, the numbers has been phenomenal for most of the API companies. So just would like to understand here, and more so driven by the volume than the prices. So just would like to understand whether this is more of a structural change happening at the API industry level, and it's driving more of the shift for the business towards the Indian companies, or it is more due to the supply disruption on account of COVID, and which might tie it down as the COVID scenario eases out.
I think there are 2 or 3 things that may be happening, that from the Chinese supplies have come down, API supplies, that has probably helped every company to sell more API. That's number 1. 2, based on the COVID and the disease pattern, right now what is happening in the last 4 or 5 months, I think there is less usage of antibiotics, there is less usage of some other therapeutic segments, more usage of antivirals and anti-inflammatory and other therapeutic segments. So in the therapeutic segments where we are, the demand is quite high. Maybe in some other therapeutic segments, the demand could be less.
Okay, sir.
But overall, I think with what we are seeing in US and Europe, less encouragement to China and more encouragement to India, and more collaboration with Indian companies, more European and Indian companies, I think that's what we are seeing. Whether Indian companies would go and invest there, or have, like we are discussing, make up to N-1, and maybe finishing can be done by one of our associate companies in US. I think things like that will evolve over a period of time. But definitely it is encouraging for the API industry.
And you see this Chinese supplies coming down even now, or it's now coming back to a little bit of normalcy?
I think it will be definitely the Chinese supplies have come down. I do not know whether it is due to they are unable to manufacture or there is a resistance to buy. I cannot comment on that. But what I would say is we are geared up to make sure there are no shortages in the APIs we are in.
Got it. And just secondly, if you could just help us with the carotenoid sales for the quarter. Hello?
Hello, I could not hear.
Just on the carotenoid sales for the quarter.
Carotenoid sales is improving. We had 127 crores for this quarter, and the business is growing. Both the the COVID-19 issues are not only in India, both in Europe and everywhere else. So maybe there is a slightly going to be less growth in the next 3 to 6 months, but eventually everybody would like to have the carotenoids as a natural phenomena to create immunity. I think everybody is saying immunity has to be built. Thank you.
I request the moderator to connect to the next call. I repeat, I request the moderator to connect the next call, please.
Hello?
Moderator, are you able to listen to us? Hello, can you listen to us? Please connect to the next call. Call disconnect.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for patiently holding. We now have the line for the management reconnected. Over to you, sir. We'll continue.
I request the moderator to connect to the next caller, please.
Yes. The next question is from the line of Tushar Manudhane from Motilal Oswal Financial Services. Please go ahead.
I just asked, but now that you've given a chance, let me just ask one more if that is okay. Just would like to know the capacity utilization for DC SEZ unit and DCV SEZ, which we commenced in February and March.
Pardon?
just would like to know the capacity utilization for the two units of the DC SEZ, which we commercialized in Feb 20, and DCV SEZ, which we commercialized in March 20. In terms of
These SEZs are still under construction, and the parts have gone into only validations, and you can pretty much take that the SEZs are still, these two new SEZs haven't added any commercial value, any significant. Okay.
Thank you.
Next call, please.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Ashish Thavkar from Motilal Oswal Asset Management. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So you spoke about volume growth being very good this quarter. But can you also help us understand what was the impact from dextromethorphan and something like naproxen, levetiracetam on our portfolio? Have the prices for these products gone up as well?
So your question is that whether the prices have gone up. I think prices are about stable. I think they are pretty much, as I said, I think there could be airlifts, and some of them, those prices the cost of sending by air may have been added, but otherwise the prices remain same. There is nothing like $1 went into $10 price.
Okay, thanks. Just one last question on this capex part. The capex for Kakinada, are we going to announce any incremental capex for Kakinada, or you feel we are still some 12 to 15 months away?
The Kakinada plant, still we are going to the legal issues to be resolved by the government. We are ready, and our drawings are ready on the board. We are waiting for the Andhra Pradesh Industrial Infrastructure Corporation to complete the legal issues within their structure and give us the clearance. That's where we are waiting.
Okay. But sir, as I understood, a part of that Kakinada space is already being cleared, right? And there's no claim on that land.
There is nothing cleared by the government. It is only probably a discussion, but nothing is. We are still waiting for the legal issues to be cleared by the government.
Thank you. Ashish, we would request you to please come back in the question queue for any follow-up questions, as we have several participants waiting for their turn. The next question is from the line of Anmol Kunj from JM Financial. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for taking my question. Congratulations on a good set of numbers, and thank you again for hosting the call. My first question is that, is this hosting of call going to be a regular feature from here on, or you made an exception because of certain of the environment?
It was not clear. Can you please speak a little loud?
Yeah, I said that are we now going to have this kind of an interaction every quarter? The good step that you've taken of hosting an earnings call, will this be a regular feature from here on?
It will be a regular feature for every quarter here onwards, having a call. Yes.
Thank you. That's very helpful. That helps us understand the business on a quarterly basis. So thank you for that, first of all. So my first question is that, given that most of the revenue growth has been volume-led, and we expect some debottlenecking, from the current capacity standpoint and what lies ahead in terms of bottlenecking, how comfortable are we in terms of driving growth? And directionally, with the current capacity plus debottlenecking, what does it allow us in terms of room for growth?
Out of the 1,800 crores investment, debottlenecking is very, very little, I would say. The majority of the capacity is for DCSEZ at Unit 1 and DCV SEZ at Unit 2. That is where the majority of the capacity is. So those would give additional products, increasing capacity for our generics, and also making some of the backward integration for assurance of supply and cost savings and to improve the bottom line. So there is going to be enough capacity to meet any surge in demand or increase in demand of our generics.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Damayanti Kerai from HSBC. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. First of all, thanks to Dr. Murali Divi and the team for hosting this call, and congratulations on strong set of numbers. So my question is on the custom synthesis segment. In the post-COVID era, we believe there will be more and more emphasis on cost efficiencies by customers. So how do you see this part of business growing for you? Are we seeing more inquiries or interest from customers who are right now not our traditional customers? If any comment you can provide on it.
In the custom synthesis, there are only X number of big pharmas, and we are connected with most of them. The business is already happening. Now, what we see is that looking at the relationship with China, looking at the shyness going towards the China, maybe India will get more opportunities in terms of the custom synthesis. Yes, I agree with you on that. And we are geared up to accept such opportunities.
Okay, so sir, we are seeing already, I'll say, a higher interest on India compared to China on this part of business, and we hope to grow from here.
That's correct.
Thank you. Damayanti, we would request you to please come back in the question queue for any follow-up questions. Also, we would request the participants to please limit your questions to one per participant due to shortage of time. The next question is from the line of Charulata Gaidhani from Dalal & Broacha Stock Broking Private Limited. Please go ahead.
Yeah, can you give me the gross block value in this quarter? And second, I wanted to know whether how much is our dependence on China in value terms or percentage terms?
You can hear it. Hello, this gross action for this quarter.
Yes. Can you repeat?
Yeah, the gross block addition during this quarter.
Yes.
215 crores.
Okay. And have we added any new APIs to our product basket in the last 2 quarters?
Yes, always there will be addition of products. As I mentioned, I think in the beginning of my presentation, I did mention that the COVID-19 products, hydroxychloroquine, Favipiravir, and the intermediates for Remdesivir, they are all new products in addition to few generics. So definitely we have added products, and we will continue adding products both from the generic and custom synthesis.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Fatima Pasha from ICICI Prudential Life Insurance. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Great set of numbers and congratulations. So we've had discussions before, and we said that because we were nearly at peak utilization levels, and and you also rightly pointed out that the current mix is more because of COVID. So what are you seeing, sir? Is this kind of a mix sustaining? Because I remember, because like you said, your new capacity will come in mostly by year end. So do you see this improved mix sustaining? And so the next thing that I want to ask, everybody is talking about the government PLI scheme. You think companies like Divi's can significantly benefit from this scheme, and would we want to do a dedicated capex for this?
The clarity was less. Can you please repeat your question, please?
Sir, the first question is, I remember that at 1,400 crore quarterly revenues, you practically said that you were operating at peak utilization. So I understand that the mix change. So are you seeing that kind of mix a permanent change, or it was more like a COVID-induced change that you saw in the quarter and things are normalizing? And the second thing is the government PLI scheme, which they're talking about, the API related PLI scheme. Are we planning to do something on that line or setting up a dedicated capacity? Can it be a very meaningful opportunity for us?
On the scheme, what you mentioned, that a 10% benefit, 5% benefit to the API manufacturers for selling in India, it is less applicable to us. The reason we are still evaluating, because most of our products are exported. We have very less sale in India. We are still trying to understand what will be the really benefit and with the PLI scheme, whether how we should be addressing it.
Thank you. Fatma, we would request you to please come back in the question queue for any follow-up questions. The next question is from the line of Rahul Sharma from KRVY Karvy Stock Broking. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so just wanted to carry on where Fatima had left. Is this quarter having more of one-off sales due to HCQS and Remdesivir API intermediate supplies which are there? And will this sustain going ahead, sir? Because HCQS is already peaked out and a lot of people are coming off it.
I think I did mention in my beginning presentation that we have only validated the process of HCQ. We have developed the process for paperware and manufactured and intermediates of Remdesivir. It's not that this did not contribute any significant number at all for this quarter. We just started sales. Our interest is to make sure there are no shortages if these are proven to be the drugs of choice for COVID. Because when it came in March, they said HCQ is the drug. Then they said the Remdesivir is the drug of choice. Then they said Favipiravir is the drug of choice. Tomorrow there may be 3 more bids will come. But we would like to develop technology and be available so that if there is a shortage, we can supply what is required for the world.
Yeah, but sir, were there any one-offs which you foresee that will not recur in future, which happened in this quarter because of volume growth?
I think I did mention that it is a favorable product mix and lumpiness in business. These are quite common in the API industry. I think that's what I would like to say.
Thank you. Rahul, we would request you to please come back in the question queue for any follow-up questions. The next question is from the line of Praful Bohra from Emkay Global. Please go ahead.
Quite a bit more color on your custom synthesis business, especially in terms of the number of molecules you currently sell, or any outlook there?
We have not been mentioning anything about how many number of molecules Well, what we can say is that the number of molecules always gets added, and of course there are less number of molecules compared to 10 years ago or 5 years ago, because the new NCEs, less number are coming, but whenever they are launching these new NCEs in phase 2, phase 3, most likely they will be launched and they will grow well. And I think we are here to take advantage of those, and we do have good opportunities.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Girish Bakru from Bank of America. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi, sir. Thanks for taking the question and great quarter. So just one question on custom synthesis side. What are the long-term areas you're looking in terms of skill development within Divi's? I mean, besides these regular APIs and some of these COVID drugs, are you looking at some technical technologies for future?
I think you hit the right point. It is not what products you want to make. It is what technologies you can handle. What kind of difficult to make chemical reactions you can handle in a large scale. That's what has put Divi's into a very strong position from the beginning. So we always add new technologies into the pipeline whereby traditional chemistries where the yields were less or the conversions are poor, the impurities are high, we are able to get over with these new technologies, new chemical reactions. It's always a challenging thing to do, and we are in the front runner of those. Yes, that gives us more opportunities with the big pharma. In addition to the EHS, which they do expect quite a bit, environment, health, safety, as well as quality and regulations.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nitin Agarwal from IDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Sir, in the custom, is there any major margin difference between a custom synthesis and the generic API business?
It's very difficult to say that. I think both custom synthesis and generic are good for us. It's not that one makes more margins, one makes less margins. I think it all depends upon which are those products and what kind of technological strength we have in conversion, in efficiency and productivity. So as you can see in the margins, we vary between 40 to 60%, whether custom synthesis sometimes go to 55, generic goes to 45, sometimes generic goes to 60, custom synthesis 40. I don't think we drive them to those percentages. It happens.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rohit Bhatt from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. Dr. Divi, I just wanted to know, recently Sanofi announced plans to set up an API company globally. So by 22, they are hoping to generate about $1 billion from API operations. So if an innovator company gets into API manufacturing, what kind of impact would it have on companies in India or from the Asian region? Because they are also trying to reduce their dependence on Asia. Your views on this will be helpful.
Okay. I just missed, which is the company?
Sanofi.
Sanofi Aventis.
Sanofi Aventis.
I thought you were saying Kodak from America.
Yeah, I mean, Kodak was also there, and Novartis also announced plans to get into penicillin API.
Yeah.
So a lot of MNCs are investing. Yeah.
Yeah, there are two things we need to understand.
Sure.
The big pharmas pretty much stopped the API production. Mothballed or sold the API manufacturing plants because they could not sustain costs. That is the reason they started outsourcing, and they don't have any more manufacturing capabilities in US, definitely, and the majority of the European companies. Number one.
Yeah.
Two, it's not only not having the manufacturing plant. When somebody puts a manufacturing plant, it's very difficult to create the human resources. Number three, the training. Number four, the regulatory impact, regulatory clearances by the FDA and European authorities. All these will take time, even if the big pharma concentrates on local production. Number two. Three, at what cost they will make these generic products? Can they sell naproxen at 40? Can they sell gabapentin at $40 a kilo? No, when they are unable to produce at $100 a kilo and started bringing and started outsourcing, I think it is very difficult to put new plants now in Europe and US, and that holds good to all companies.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sameer Baisiwala from Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Hi, thank you. Good evening, sir. So quick question. How much contribution do you get from biologics or antibodies in your overall business? And what are your thoughts about building capabilities around these?
Did I hear right? You would like to know about biologics?
No, sorry?
No, did you say biologics?
Yes, sir. Biologics, antibody, monoclonal antibodies, that's right, biotech drugs.
We are not in biologics. We are not in antibiotics. We are not in injectables. We are API manufacturing company. That is where our strengths are, and that's where we are counting on our future. At this time, I think we are not concentrating on biologics at this moment.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Naresh Sutar from SBI Life Insurance. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for taking my question. So my question is, when last year we announced this capex of 17-18 billion rupees, that time we had some certain outlook for API industry. After that, the COVID thing happened and the outlook has improved over time. So, so whatever you assumed for the order book or the opportunity size for at the time of announcing this 17-18 billion rupees capex, has it gone up substantially after this post-COVID scenario?
Can you please repeat the question again?
So, sir, my question is, last year when we announced the capex, the outlook for the size of the opportunity which we might have seen at the time may be certain, and after that the COVID happened and the outlook is been improving. So, so whatever you were seeing in terms of opportunity size that time, has it increased substantially after this COVID?
I think the opportunities remained the same because COVID has influenced in a different way, but the requirement of the therapeutic segment, either APIs, either for generic or custom synthesis remained. The opportunities remain same, our focus remains same, accepting we took the challenge of making even the COVID APIs to prevent shortage of supplies in the world.
Okay, so I think I confused. So my question is, after this increase in inquiries based on the COVID related issues, and people are now thinking more about moving from China to India. So in this scenario, have your inquiry increased, and for that are you announcing more capex or further down the line based on this increased or improved outlook?
Okay. If I understand right, with the Chinese issues from China, whether there are going to be more opportunities on capex and more number of products, yes, definitely there will be opportunities in custom synthesis. There will be opportunities in our own generic products, not new products with additional volumes. And we are ready to take in if we need to invest more as a capex.
Okay.
Thank you. Due to time constraints, I would now like to hand the conference over to the management for closing comments.
Thank you all for joining us today for the earnings call of Divi's Laboratories Limited. In case you need any clarifications, please reach out to our investor relations. Thank you.
Thank you. On behalf of Divi's Lab, that concludes today's conference call. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.